So you're telling me there's a chance. Finally, after months and months, Tottenham Hotspur have got their first win of 2026. And what a win it was. A scrappy, just plucky, just in the dirt win away to Wolves. 1-0, Paulinho late in the game. For a split second, you thought he was offside, but he was onside, and boy, did we need that. Boy, did that save our blushes, because for a little bit there, West Ham winning 1-0 against Everton, us 0-0 against Wolves, the Titanic looked sunk. But we were able to pull out the win, and it was a scrappy win, but it was a win nonetheless. It gets that weight off our shoulders. It gets that, it gets the gorilla off our back, and now we can focus on the final 4 games of the season. And the players have that feeling now. They had that winning feeling. They had that mentality, like, we can go and do this. I'm sure there'll be some disappointment in the locker room, like there was in the fan base, because at some point after we scored, West Ham conceded to Everton to go 1-1, which for about 3 to 4 minutes, it put Spurs in 17th out of the relegation zone. Alas, Callum Wilson wins it for West Ham at the death, and we went back to where we were in 18th. But again, a win is a win, and we needed that big time. It was not the greatest performance. It was nowhere near as good as we saw a week before against Brighton. Have to assume that Brighton is a team that likes to attack. They like to come out. They like to try to play the ball around the pitch and make things happen. While Wolves were happy to stodge it up, just make it difficult. Just throw everything in the cement mixer, and just make it a real grind to get through that. But we got through it. That's all that matters. Got that will and feeling, winning feeling. We know we can. We know we can get those points on the board. And it's about basically just one game at a time for the remaining 4 games, 4 cup finals. Next one is Sunday away to Villa Park, 2 p.m. Unfortunately, I'll be at work, so I'll miss it. Maybe I'll try to find a dodgy stream, to catch a bit of it on my phone, but I'm not sure about that. I don't know. West Ham play earlier in the weekend, Saturday away to Brentford. So if they draw points, even if they get a draw and they go 3 points ahead of us, a win from us puts us out of the relegation zone. And away to Villa, 9 out of 10 times you'd say Spurs are going to get slapped up. But as of recording this, it's Thursday, April 30th. Villa have the first leg of the Europa League semi-final. I think it's away to Forest this evening. And then next Thursday, they're hosting Forest in the second leg. So I think that's going to be 2 very tough, very close, very tight-knit games. Forest have been absolutely great the past few weeks, and Villa have been really good all season. So I think it's going to be very close, very tight affairs. And, Villa's going to have an extra 90 minutes in their legs on after tonight. And if it's a close game, tied going into the second leg, or they're up or down by a goal, they may want to rest some key players on Sunday, because when it comes to the current Premier League table, they're pretty far ahead when it comes to a Champions League spot. So regardless whether they win the Europa League or not, they're going to be in the Champions League. So it's just going for the cup. And their players and their coach are going to want that. Emery is a big Europa League guy. He's won that 3 times before, so he knows what it takes to win. And he knows that maybe you have to rest a few players and not so much sacrifice a game, but realize, okay, we got Forest. The Spurs game is the 3rd priority out of those 3. So hopefully we can take advantage of that and get some points. Because, if we can get out of this relegation zone this weekend, 3 games left, heading into the next weekend, West Ham go away to the Scum, or host the Scum. I don't know if it's home or away, but they play the Scum. As much as I would love the Scum to blow this title, to me, I don't know what's worse, being relegated or Scum winning the title. Like, it's death by 1,000 paper cuts or death by 1,000 fucking, I don't know, cuts with a butter knife. I can't think of a good example, but I think City's just an unstoppable force right now, and for the Scum to win the title, I think they're gonna have to win out. And actually, I think City's up by one or like the Scum are ahead by 3 points, but City have a game in hand. Let's assume City win that. They go level on points. City have a couple goals ahead of them, so the Scum I think are gonna have to win out and win one or two of those games by a few goals, just to give himself a little bit of a chance in case it goes down to the last game and both teams are on the same amount of points. Especially considering City, they still haven't just squeezed in where they're going to put that Palace game. It's probably going to come the last week of the season, in between the second last game and the last game. And I'm going to guess if Palace can get through their Europa League conference semifinals and get to the Conference League final, and actually, no, they'll have a game that week, so I don't know whenever it'll be. Like, Palace probably will be on the beach, and depending on what City's doing, it'll probably be, it could be an easy 3 points. So, anyways, I'm babbling. What I'm trying to say is the Scum need to win out, and I think they need to win get some goals in these next few games. So, next week, if we're ahead of if we're ahead of West Ham in the race next week, let's say we're tied on points, we're ahead on goal differential. They go to play the Scum, they lose. We play Leeds at home game. I think Leeds are probably home and safe in terms of the relegation fight. Going to be a little bit disappointed that they were eliminated from the FA Cup this past weekend, but it's a chance, second last home game of the season, just to win, go 3 points clear with 2 games left. We'd have Chelsea away, which they would love to bury us. West Ham would have Newcastle away, which Newcastle haven't won in a while, and if they don't win at least one more game, they could get dragged into this. So that's gonna be tough for West Ham. I honestly think, I'll get into predictions in a couple of seconds, but I honestly think both teams will lose that weekend. And then I believe West Ham play Forest on the last day, and so I think it's gonna really come down to who's out of the relegation zone at the end of next weekend. And I think Spurs really need to hope that we can get out of it this weekend and give ourselves a little bit of momentum going into next weekend, because I think we got to win a couple more games and we got to hope things go our way. And things haven't gone our way all season. Case in point, yes, we got 3 points against Wolves, but we lost Simmons to a hamstring injury. He's gone for the season. And color me surprised, yet another ACL injury for Tottenham. Javi Simmons goes down, knees fucked. Of course, our medical staff comes out, has him stand up on it, jump up and down it, jog on it a bit. Probably just did even more damage, but he's gone to probably early 2027, January, February time. So he's obviously out for the remaining 4 games of the season. He's going to miss the World Cup, which is a heartbreaker. Again, I've said it a few times about players in my videos. You don't want to see players missing the World Cup. I mean, the next one is in 4 years, depending on where Simmons' career trajectory goes. Is he even going to be in the discussion to be in the Dutch team in 4 years? This could have been his opportunity, so you feel for him there. But again, these injuries, nothing is going right, and this is what I fear about us in the last 2 games. It's just we could score 100 goals a game, but we'll somehow concede 101 because just nothing's going our way. And I don't want to be that guy that makes excuses, because I think the top problem with the club this season, and the main reason why we're going to go down, is incompetence at the board level, is Frank not being a good enough manager for us and not get rid of him soon enough, and the players just not doing enough this season to get us over the line in games that were close. Down by a goal, we could have pulled out a draw. Games tied, we could have pulled out a win. We didn't do enough. We were never good enough. We weren't disciplined enough, and that's the main problem. But You see all these injuries piling up. We don't get the calls go our way. You saw Gomez go in 2-footed on Yves Bissouma, and yes, he got the ball and he went through him after. I've seen those given as reds. I personally would have been like, okay, I guess it's a yellow. Like, I mean, I think I can see it given as red, but like it's a hard tackle. You give it as a yellow. The next time the tackling player makes any kind of foul, you send him off for a second. Like, it's one of those yellow with you're on your last warning, buddy. But we've seen so many players get sent off with that, and I'm not trying to be woe is me. If that was Romero, he'd be put up on the same level as war criminal, as Donald Trump, if he made that tackle. Like, he would have been sent, if he made that tackle, he would have been sent off 10 minutes before the tackle was made. That's how harshly Romero has been reffed this season. Like, we just don't get the calls. Slanky was pushed over in the box. We didn't get a penalty. And again, I don't think it's a conspiracy. I don't think there's any cabal going up against Spurs because they want to see Spurs get relegated. I just think it's a case of just this season, the calls just aren't going our way. The bounces aren't going our way. The injury bug is just plaguing us. Like, we all have bad days. We all wake up and it's like you leave. Maybe you roll out of bed 5 minutes later, so you leave your house 5 minutes late. You miss the train, you miss the bus, you get caught up in traffic, so you're 5 minutes late for work, and then maybe you spill your coffee, and then just the whole day just goes to shit because of one or two very small changes in your daily routine or how things go that just completely throw off the day. Like, it doesn't mean you're a bad person or you've got bad luck. It's just a bad day. Right? Well, Spurs have had a season worth of bad days, and I personally just think that's what they are. It's just inconsistent reffing, unlucky with the injuries, and then obviously a poor medical team in rehab. And I said it before, next season, whether we're in the Premier League or in the Championship, we could get 95% of the calls go in our favor. We could go an entire season where we don't get many injuries. We could have, a shot that is going way wide and bounces off the left back's head back into the box, off the center back's kneecap and into his own net. We could get all the bounces. Obviously that's an extreme example, but that's things could just go our way the next season. I didn't realize that a blue blotch on myself. Anyways, and they're just not going our way this season, and I think is all that is just gonna add up. I just can't see where we're gonna get the goals in these last few games because all our creativity, all our goals, everything's just been stripped down, and we're just getting no luck on top of no consistency and seemingly no talent. So I am really worried, but you gotta have a bit of hope. So let's get into some predictions for the last few games. So this weekend you got West Ham at Brentford on the Saturday, Spurs at Villa on the Sunday. I believe both those games will be a draw. And we'll each get a point. They'll stay 17th, we'll stay 18th. Next week, I believe the Scum will beat West Ham, because they're going to need to. We'll beat Leeds, and that will put us 1 point ahead of Forest. We'll be in 17th, they'll be in 18th. Penultimate game of the season, us away to Chelsea, guaranteed loss. If Spurs were in the Premier League and Chelsea sent their U4 girls team, their U4 girls team would beat us because we just never beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. So they'll beat us. I think Newcastle beat West Ham in their final game at St. James Park, the final game of the season at St. James Park. It'll be. I don't think Newcastle will win up until then, and that'll be oh shit, we're pulled right into this relegation zone. We gotta just get something over the line here. They get the win. They'll go into the last game of the season. Spurs at home to Everton. West Ham, I believe, would be at home to Forest. Forest, I believe they'll be safe by then, depending on if they have a Europa League final week before or whatever. determine like how serious they take that. But if they have nothing to play for, I think West Ham get the win, which would if we're a point ahead, that would put them 2 points ahead of us. I think we'd pull it out just on the last day of the season to go a point ahead, or perhaps it'd be more of a they tie Forest, we tie West Ham, everything stays the same, we're ahead by a point. But it's gonna be close. It's gonna like basically I've got West Ham draw this weekend, lose the weekend after, lose the weekend after that, win against Forest, and then I got us drawing Villa, beating Leeds, losing to Chelsea, beating Everton. So, and I think that'll keep us a point above West Ham, and we'll avoid the drop just. But like we need things to go our way. We can't afford any more injuries, and we just need some glimmer of hope. And that's a weekend where we win and West Ham draw, or we win and West Ham lose. Because I think it's just us and West Ham now. I think Forest are pretty much safe. Leeds are pretty much safe. I think it's just us two in this fight, and West Ham have looked good. Like they're up for the fight. Like if we have a lot, I think we have more talent than they do, and we have a better manager than they do. Although I think Nuno Espirito Santo was vastly underrated. Yeah, he wasn't the right fit at Spurs. He did a fucking amazing job at Wolves. He fucking did wonders at Forest. It was harsh the way it ended with him at Forest, and it started slow at West Ham, but he's really turned it around. And like, if they stay up, I think it's purely because of Nuno Espirito Santo and the great work he's done. If they go down, they should keep him, keep whatever plan he has in place for the future, and I think they're probably back up by March. I think they get promoted really because like they just look really good under Nuno Espirito Santo, and that's where I think could be the difference if it tips West Ham's favor is if we brought in De Zerbi at the same week that West Ham brought in Nuno, we would have had more time, more games to implement De Zerbi style. And you can see like we're turning the corner here, but like we don't have much runway. It's like we're trying to take off in a plane on a 50-meter runway. Like we just don't have enough time and enough space to build the speed to take off, and like that, like he's got to essentially turn the ship around on a dime. Like he's got no room for error. Oh, this whole relegation thing, man, it's stressful. It's like I literally go over permutations in my head all night at work, thinking about like, well, who plays who when, and like, okay, West Ham's playing this team. Does this team have a big game midweek? Oh, they have a big game midweek. Does that mean they're going to rest? Although they don't have a big game that week, so they won't rest. And you're having every scenario go through your head. And just like, even with my predictions, I said West Ham will draw, lose, win, and will draw, win, lose, win. And we'll finish a point above them. I believe. Let me get that right. We'll have 2 wins and a draw. That's 7 points. So if we're 2 points behind, that'll put us 5 points ahead. And if they get a win and a draw, that's yeah, okay. See what relegation is doing. It's making me question my math. But yeah, so like it's super close. And guys, like we just gotta cross our fingers, cross our toes, you know. If you're a person of the cloth, person of the faith, you know, say your prayers, you know, do some good deeds, put some good karma out into the universe, and just hope, because like these next few weeks are going to be stressful. Like I said, I work all night just going over in my head who's playing who when, is it home, is it away, what matches are previous, what matches coming after, is there midweek, you know, who's picked up injuries, you know. Anyways, guys, I'm going to let you go. I worked last night. I should probably get to bed soon. I look like shit. So I'm going to let you guys go. Like, comment, subscribe, all that bullshit. Big shout out to my last video, the first zero view video I got. So like I said in my very first video, we will lose viewers. And I've successfully done that, so I'm proud of myself. Pat on the back, tap of the stick. And guys, keep doing good. Keep doing what you love. Do what you're passionate about. Take care. Love you all. Peace.